Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to the YouTube channel everybody. And in today's video, we are doing a new film ranking. With the release of Sinners, Ryan Coogler now has his 5th film entry in his filmography, and that means today we're going to go ahead and stop and rank all 5 films in Ryan Coogler's filmography, from the worst to the best. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really think he has a bad movie per se. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say every movie is like top tier or perfect, but most of his movies are actually very good. And honestly, while not every film that he's made are one of my favorites, he's one of those directors that I think is very palpable, because as he's come along with all of his films, he's been able to become a director that I just enjoy, because he's able to make things that I really enjoy, but put his own spin on it with like a story that is very impactful, and I really enjoy that. So like, for example, Black Panther, superhero action adventure film, but it's about a king and his kingdom and exploring what if advanced people with technology didn't help Africans people. Very interesting stuff. With that, let's go ahead and get started with the ranking. At number 5, and number 5 in last place is Fruitvale Station. I don't technically have anything wrong with this movie. Just something had to really be in last place. Of course, the movie is really good. Of course, Michael B. Jordan's, performance is great. It's based on a true story. To be honest, I haven't seen it since I got prepared for Wakanda Forever, so I don't really remember it all that much. I'm so sorry, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Fruitvale Station. Number 4 is going to be Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So this movie was dealt a very badly hand because of the passing of Chadwick Boseman. And so, when they went to do this movie, they were like, how are we going to do a Black Panther 2 without Chadwick Boseman? And obviously, there's a major gap between this and Fruitvale Station. I think Ryan Coogler found a way to make it work to where he can because obviously, one of the best parts about the first Black Panther were the side characters. So what do? Just continue off of them, expand their stories, expand their arcs, and tell new stories with them. And I thought it worked out. At the same time, you introduced Namor into the MCU. You introduced Talokan. Well, technically Atlantis, but you know what I mean. And even then, like, this movie, the way that they're doing performances in this film, like Angela Bassett, and all the emotions just feel so real. And even when it comes to the action, it's very surreal in certain moments, like the Boston Bridge fight with Okoye, or even all the stuff with Shuri's Black Panther. All of it was so intense and awesome. So yeah, this movie still rocks. I will say it's at number 4 for a few reasons, in that, like, we don't really get a lot of Black Panther in the film. I understand because of the reasons, but, it doesn't feel quite as perfect. And then also, the whole plot line with Ross and him with Valentina just felt very off and weird, and I didn't really like the way he was used in this one, so that kind of brought it down a little bit. But overall, a pretty great film in Ryan Coogler's filmography. At number 3, we have the first Creed. I thought Creed was amazing. I love the Rocky franchise. I was currently watching the Rocky movies before I saw this one, and we got to learn about Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Creed, where he was basically a fighter his whole life. His affair wife took him in, and it just was a very cool film. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities between this and the first Rocky, as it basically follows all the same story templates of that first film, but I still think it's a film that works really well, in that it takes, it uses characters. Of course, it's not just telling a story about Adonis Creed, but it's also telling a great Rocky story at the same time. And even developing the world of Philadelphia and stuff was really well done. and some of the training montages were kind of nice. Everybody kind of complains about this training montage. I kind of liked it. I thought it was a fun modern take of how would this stuff that we saw that was so awesome in 1976, just imagine how stressful it would be in the 21st century. I loved it, but also it added a different heart to it. The score from Ludwig Göransson was great. And so yeah, this movie was just incredible. And once again, I think that this was the movie that put Michael B. Jordan as a movie star. So yeah, I loved Creed. At number 2 is Black Panther. And yeah, this was possibly Ryan Coogler's magnum opus, at the time at least, for what he was able to do with a movie. Creed was great because it was a great sports drama, but it felt like something was a little bit missing. That the whole experience was great because the boxing scenes were great, the story was really good, but it felt too similar to the first Rocky. Black Panther, on the other hand, did something very interesting and new. It is one part superhero film in the MCU and continuing the character of Black Panther from Captain America Civil War, but it's also a story about a king and his kingdom and ruling over a fictional African nation, but also it's a story about, the family drama that happens within it, and how to be a good person, how to lead a country, how to, and who to surround yourself with, but also it explores kind of what is it like, would Africans do if they had this power? And it kind of makes you relate Wakanda to the United States a little bit, where the United States, yeah, we're probably the best country in the world, but we don't actually offer the best that there is as much as we say we do. Because Wakandans, they're Africans, but they're not all Africa. Wakanda is not all Africa, if you can't tell. Because while Wakanda was being made, slavery was still going on, people were being enslaved, people were being put in jails, and Wakanda saw all of this and did not decide to help. And that leads into what Killmonger's all about, in that he wants to be king because he believes he should be letting all of our black people in and giving out weapons to them to defend themselves, because this isn't right. We don't deserve this. We have our rights and we deserve better. And the Black Panther killed my father, so I'm going to take it back and become king. And he has all the right obligations, and Michael B. Jordan plays this role to perfection. But not only that, Chadwick Boseman is great as Black Panther, even though he is kind of one-dimensional. He's still great as the character. And once again, like I said, with Wakanda Forever, the side characters in this movie are all fantastic. Whether it's Lupita Nyong'o as not Shuri, Nakia, you got Letitia Wright as Shuri, you have Denai Guerrero as Okoye, you got Winston Duke as M'Baku, you got what's the guy's name that played Claw? I forgot. Ooh. I forgot. Ooh. Oh, Andy Serkis. Sorry, I remember Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis was great, even though he got killed off way too soon. And just the world of Wakanda was something so interesting, as it's advanced, and it's probably a lot better than what our American technology is like. So it's this is just amazing. So Also, it's kind of like the MCU's Lion King in a way, which is a story that I think I can relate a lot to more. And Ludwig Göransson's score was just fantastic. This movie just works on so many levels for me. So for me, I loved Black Panther. But in first place, and it's no surprise, it's Sinners. I think Sinners is possibly Ryan Coogler's best film yet, and there's no doubt about it. I loved this movie. And I think what made this film work so well was that he was able to tell a vampire movie that's not just a vampire movie. It is everything in between, with as it is a film about music and the blues, as well as a gangster movie. And what I love about this is it's not a full-out vampire movie where we the parts I just mentioned with the music and the gangster stuff, it's kind of that's kind of what most of the film is, but it's used as a way to get to know the characters, to see the characters, and by the time you get to the vampire stuff, it is just nonstop tension and payoff. Well, not payoff, but building of the tension of the big epic climax, and who's gonna die, who's gonna turn into a vampire, who's gonna keep coming back inside, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, and it just works so well. And even from all the performances, whether it's Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, even Eldon Del Roy, the guy that played Sammy, even some of the vampires were really good. All of it was just really good. I will say, the way they do the vampire lore still kind of confuses me, and I do kind of wish we had a little bit more action with the film, especially in the climax, or even throughout the other movie, but I feel like that's one of Ryan Coogler's big problems, and that's something I forgot to mention in Black Panther. It's not number one because the third act isn't really as epic. Like, you get a bunch of warriors fighting, and you get, like, a ship crashing, but it doesn't feel epic to me. Especially when you have all these other action scenes in the film that were, like, pretty epic in scale and size. This one just felt very minor, so... But with Sinners, the action was still pretty good when it happened. I just kind of wish there was more of it. And the gunfight stuff was really cool, too, but it didn't quite work for me on that level, but I still really loved it. And yeah, it's possibly my favorite Ryan Coogler movie. Only time will tell unless I like Black Panther more, but we'll see. But that is my ranking of all the Ryan Coogler movies. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.